Hi there and welcome back to the studio. Today I'd like to welcome you to the next segment of this paint along. I know we're starting to create a lot of individual segments in this painting, but again, there are no cuts to the way that I'm filming. So we have a brand new setup here. If you missed yesterday's video, all right, check this out. We have this shot, that shot. Do it again. This shot, that shot. Isn't that neat? We have multiple camera angles now, and we're really able to see the entire thing develop seamlessly. So that being said, so what we have on the palette here, I'm going to let the colors play on the screen, so you're seeing it from left to right with my medium at the end. That being said, in yesterday's video, we started to rework this painting. So what we did first was apply the first layer of oil. Well, we oiled it out with our Neo McGill medium, but why am I even saying this? I need the paint. So anyway, let's just go ahead and get right to it. Let's get right to it. So let's get into this kind of gray color, and then let's add a little more flesh tone. Let's just jump right into the painting. So I want kind of a lighter gray for the sclera. So again, this is the sclera. The sclera is the white of the eye. Can you finish my sentence? The white of the eye is not? Yep, it's not white. The white of the eye is kind of a neutral tone. You can really see it here. The white of the eye is not very bright. It's not that light. Even though I'm making it a little too light. I'll just adjust it, just moving around the palette here. Moving along. So again, we're kind of creating a little bit of a transition now with the light. And let's get a little more warmth into this. A little bit darker. And there's going to be a little bit of a light shape here. Very tiny, however. Let's clean off that brush. Wish I could be like Bob Ross and then have the little thing on the bottom. Now this is the best part, most fun part. Ooh, yeah. Doesn't work, so you need a larger brush to do that. Just dip in. I wish I could. I wish I could. Anyway, I'm thinking that this shape here, I still want to spend a little bit more time with this shape here. So again, let's pull this shape out. Remember, portrait painting is a pretty time-consuming thing. So you really want to sit back and relax. Have a cup of tea. Alright, so switching to another brush. Let's use this one. I want to add much more specificity into these shapes. Let's move up a value. Now we're really getting specific. And I wasn't trying to make fun of Bob Ross. I actually really like to watch his painting videos. Take a lot of inspiration from Bob Ross. A little more light. Right into here. So if I'm a little bit more quiet today, is because I'm a lot more focused on these planes. Planes are a little bit more analytical. Let's clean off this brush here. Planes are a little bit more analytical. You really have to imagine the angle that the plane is making with respect to the light source. Can't really get it that well from just trying to copy a photograph. So a little bit more specificity to that shape, huh? Really want to get the shape of our eye to work. So I need a smaller brush here. So I have all my materials down here. Yeah, let's use this one. So we're just going to put this little shape all around. But let's not spend the entire segment of today on the eye. Let's move down here. So what's going on there? There's a little bit of a discrepancy here with the nose. So I think what it is let's just get any old light from here, it doesn't matter. And just push this up. So I think that shape needed to go up a little bit. Now with portrait, every action is going to have a consequence. So even pushing that shape up is going to require us to kind of reason with the surrounding shape. So I'm pretty much just taking whatever off the palette, just a darker value. So this value right here, and just trying to adjust it. And it's going to be a little bit cooler. So let's just get this cool color from here. Just mix right onto here. And this shape is going to come out a little bit like this. So if you missed yesterday's video, it's alright. I do have a new easel. And I do have a new easel now. You know what? You know why? Because it was on sale. That's right. It was on sale. So that whole shape needs a lot more specificity now. So let's actually mix up a color for the shadow. So burnt umber, alizarin permanent, burnt umber, alizarin permanent. Let's throw in some sap green just to cool down the heat. There we go. And again, this shape, when I squint down, the little accent for the nostril almost disappears. So it's not really about getting the little nostrils and all of that stuff. It's really about getting the shape. Getting the shape just right. And again, it's going to take a while. Portrait does take a while. Even in alla prima. So I think that's a little better. Now the next thing I'm noticing is still, I keep coming back to that. I think I need a little bit more of an angle here for the tear duct. So let's switch back to this brush. Just take whatever, just a kind of middle tone from the palette. And just kind of push that shape down. Let's get a lighter shape. Pushing that down a little more. And it's actually starting to glare on me, so I'm going to use my fan brush. Try to minimize the glare there. Alright, so that, I think that's a little better, but I'm not entirely sure. Let's actually clean off this brush. My brush cleaner. And again, if you're new to this channel and you want to know exactly what materials I'm using, you can always scroll down to the description box below and all of that stuff will be typed up for you. Just pushing that light. Just trying to get more specific with that angle. And even this one, I feel like it could use some assistance. And I think what it could be is this again. So really we're like exploring the surfaces now. Trying things out, seeing if they work. If they don't work, you can just scrape it off and we have the layer underneath. And again, if you missed yesterday's video, or even yesterday's and the one before that, this painting was supposed to be wet on wet, painted completely wet on wet, but it started drying on me. I forget now, maybe in the third video or something. So I am working over top of a dry layer now, which is actually much more used to that feeling. Let's get a little more medium. Actually, let's clean this brush first. It's our brush cleaner. Adding much more nuance to these shapes. I did say I didn't want to spend the entire day on that eye, but man, I'm spending a while on this eye, and it's okay. I mean, again, remember, portrait does take a long time. It's a very relaxing thing. So I'm going to reassess these shapes now, because I feel like I've been neglecting these shapes. Alright, so this brush is pretty beat up, but it ought to work. Let's hope it works. So let's mix somewhere, I don't know, off to the side in here, around here, just throwing the Alizarin permanent into these colors, just so I don't have such a bright red. Now let's go back into here. And there should be a little bit more light there showing that I didn't have before. So this is how we're creating that light. Super simple. Now the thing about the mouth is, remember, the mouth is like one of the easier areas to adjust. But honestly, I'm going to let you in on a little secret here. I tend to really kind of work all around the picture. So even though I'm actually putting more light into there, I'm seeing now that there could be a little more light here on the eye that I'm not supposed to be touching. A little more light here. That little highlight there. And let's take this kind of cooler highlight right over here. A little more light right off the palette. Just trying to get these lights. There we go. Just clean off the brush. So again, I'm really trying to observe this little area here. And I do think it needs a little bit of, or maybe a lot of attention. So there, this area here is just, it's been giving me trouble, like the shape of the mandible. And see how this is just too flat? I need a little bit of a, see that? It helps when you make sound effects. A little bit of an angle that I still am not quite describing. And again, even though I seem like I'm getting worked up about it, I'm really not. I'm just trying to observe these shapes and just make decisions. So with the same brush that had the red, I'm putting some sap green. I do like to neutralize colors by kind of going right across to its complement. See how that's too dark? So to lighten a very dark shape, I like to use yellow ochre actually. But it does kind of make it cooler, so I do have to take that into account. But I think this shape could use a little bit more of a cooler tone anyway. Alright, so now let's go ahead and adjust this shape. So that's going up and over. And you know, even that's starting to bother me. Like I think I could have more of an angle there. But it could just be that I'm not adequately describing this tone. So it's okay if we go right into the mouth. It's not about the details. It's okay if we eliminate a lot of details for the sake of simple shape. And if you're new to painting, if you're new to oil painting, and when I say new, if you've been painting for maybe less than 10 years, I would suggest, and I'm only saying that because I've been painting for about 10 years, I would suggest to do some cast drawings or cast paintings or still life, and learn how to take an area and render it until it's just emerging from the canvas. That's kind of what we did with the larger painting. We took certain areas like the face of that larger painting of Steve and just made it emerge from the canvas. And really what it takes to do that is just careful application of value. Because if that wasn't the case, then certain things like a black and white photograph wouldn't read. But of course there's more to it than just the value. There's also color as well, but value is the strongest component to getting something to look like something. Alright, now I need to really carefully observe these shapes here. So that goes down a little bit more. This shape might be able to push inwards. And if the ear is too far out, who cares? Keep your shapes simple and easy. Don't get upset if you find you have to move an ear or something like that. It's easy to move it. The hard part is figuring out what to move. Again, moving things is easy. It's difficult to know what to move, where to move it, how, and why. So it's important to stand back. I don't think I've been standing back enough with this painting. So stand back and squint. Make a mark and stand back. Make a mark, stand back. Cannot tell you how useful that is towards getting an objective view on your painting. Now we definitely did push that a lot. So we're leaving a little bit of a seam right there. So a little bit of burnt umber, yellow ochre, more burnt umber, and just that. I'm going to use more paint to try to get rid of that little seam. There we go. So I do think that the ear could possibly just maybe have to move a little bit. So tell you what, let's get another brush. This one right here has just about the color we need. Relate it to the mouth. So I'm going to relate it to my picture. Okay, so this looks like it comes up to here. So, I'm going to push that shape over. Let's get that shadow brush. It's actually going to move up. Tiniest bit. See how easy it is to do that? Let's make it darker. Because when one form meets another form, it creates an accent. And that is the accent. And let's just whatever. Let's just push that shape with the shadow color. Easy. And just like that, we just move the ear. No problem. Remember, moving things is not the hard part. But where to move them, that's the hard part. So standing back again. Now there's a little transition here that could be described with a little bit more clarity. So should I use another brush? Let me think for a second. No, I think if this is going to be a shadow brush for the side of the face, then this is going to be a light brush. No, this one will be the light brush. There we go. This one will be the kind of the halftone brush. How about that? All right, so here's our little halftone. Super simple. Kind of doing a little bit of construction work here. So now we're kind of paving way through this plane, making it a little bit darker. And again, I keep wanting to return to that eye. It's seeking attention. Stop seeking my attention. That eye. All right, now we're going to push this over. Tell you what, there's so much stuff here that I'm not adequately describing. But I don't want to get caught up, sorry. I don't want to get caught up with all the nuance there. I just want to observe that shape and make it much more specific. What did I do with, why is this brush dark? Oh, I don't know. I think maybe yeah, there we go. I was mixing the little value scale on the palette, and I must have had a dark brush and left it. And that's perfect, because now I want to push this dark shape a little bit more. And where's that background brush? Oh dear, I don't have a background brush. Let's get this brush here. So again, I'm going to want to push this shape inwards. There we go. So I'm thinking here, I might want to straighten that out a little bit more. And yes, notice I'm working all around. Even though we're sticking to this one little area, we're still working all around the picture basically. A little bit more shadow there. No problem. Could it be that this eye just needs to move that way? Because I kept moving that out. And if the eye needs to move, it's not a big deal, to be honest. I would much rather move that eye over. I would much rather do that if that's what I have to do. Keep your shapes simple and easy. And you know what I'm going to say, right? Keep your shapes simple and easy. Go ahead, finish my sentence. Keep your shape simple and easy so that when the time comes to make changes, those changes will be simple and easy to manage. And tell you what, does that eye need to move? I don't know, but I feel like it needs to get ever so slightly closer. It's very hard for me to tell, and I think that this area still could use a little bit more light, and it's a little bit too cold, I think. So let's go ahead and lighten it with this, just taking right off the palette. Trying to work all around, moving all around. So again, we're raising the value, and we can still see a little bit of the layer underneath, which is something I actually really enjoy, when you can see the layers underneath. So if it is the case that the eye needs to move over there, I'll move it. But right now, I'm not entirely sure, so I'm going to go ahead and re-examine all of the values of the areas surrounding it. Now I know you're probably thinking, well, why didn't you just trace the picture? And the answer is I could have, but I don't want to. It's just, I don't know. I just don't like the idea of copying something. So again, there's much more light over here. Look at that. So adding more light here is actually giving us, I think, a little bit more likeness somehow. Not sure. But that does need more light. There we go. Looks a little bit better. And like I said, we are working this area too. We're working the entire thing. A little bit more cadmium red. We've got 3 minutes on the clock, or a little bit less. So no worries, we're almost done with the day. Then I will be transitioning into the next segment of this painting, which you will receive in tomorrow's video. Because painting a portrait takes a long time. I'm not going to pretend that I'm able to do it very quickly, very effortlessly. And you're seeing the real life stuff that happens when you're painting a portrait. So adding a little bit more light to these shapes now. I'm not afraid to make any changes. Always keep a brave brush. Now, again, I'm going to re-examine that. And again, re-examining that will probably be about the last thing that I'll do in this segment of the video. So just taking right from the palette, this little area here. A little bit more of a plane here. Whereas before I just had a line of value. I want a plane to adequately describe the structure. And that ought to do it for the plane. But again, this painting is still not finished. Remember, portrait takes a long time. It's a very relaxing thing. So let me put the brushes down. You know I'm going to do it again. I really enjoy this new camera setup and this new filming style. 0 cuts, you're seeing it continuously, all of my goofiness and everything. So this shot, this shot, this shot, one more time, this shot, that shot. All of these camera shots, I really enjoy this. This is quite a lot of fun, and I hope it's fun for you to watch and to paint along with me. That being said, I really hope that these videos help you out. I wish you the best in all of your artwork, and as always, I'm really trying to bring the experience of creating these paintings to you as often as possible. I really want to make these videos every single day, but you know, certain life events and things could happen. But that being said, I will be back, and I will most likely be back tomorrow morning, 11 a.m. United States time, and I'm running out of time on my timer. That being said, I wish you the best in all of your artwork, and I will be back again very soon, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.